Really wanting to make these beta books once I had betas open again for my book, but I guess we'll just have to have an early interest form down below. So if you're interested in beta reading my spicy fantasy romantasy novel with Vikings, check out the form down below. And you'll be one of the first ones to know when I'm opening up beta reads for my serial novel Between the Shadows and the Dawn, coming this fall and winter. Now onto the advice on how to find betas for your book. First thing we have to differentiate is the difference between betas, CPs, and alpha readers. For me and my wordage, to simplify it for you, a critique partner is someone that you trade work with and you're just generally more friends with. An alpha reader is someone who reads the book either while you are writing it or they get an unedited first draft. And then betas are someone who you have around for. They're usually people you don't know or only vaguely know. You're not training work with them, and they're getting your more edited, polished draft, typically all at one time. Alpha readers might get your book at different periods of time, and critique partners get it at a completely different time. Your critique partners could be also your alpha or your betas, but your alpha is not going to be a beta, your beta's not going to be an alpha, and your beta's not going to be a CP necessarily. So for here, we're just talking about beta readers. This is people that you have sign up to go and read your book before anyone else to kind of get the audience reaction, critiques, other things of that nature. Twitter, TikTok, as long as it's not banned, and other online communities. That's the #1 place you're going to find anyone, and the main way you're going to find this is by just talking about your book and the things you love about it. You will find your community naturally, and people will literally offer out of the gate without you having to ask if they can beta read your book. Why? Because people like to have things that are exclusive. They like to be the first to read books. They like to be able to tell the author things to help influence the story ahead before the story is even out there. A lot of this, for me personally, in my next beta round is going to be more so like critique-wise and not really influencing the story all too much. So if you want to actually influence the novel that I'm writing, then sign up for my Patreon. I'll leave it down below. I have polls out all the time to help you help me craft the story. You might become a character in the story, be able to name characters on your own. But yes, online communities. Find your community, find the readers that are going to want to read your book. Some might be willing to pay for it, so imagine how grateful they'll be when you'll give it to them early for free. And they probably will buy your book later on too if they enjoyed it. Next is to offer to beta for other writers. Sometimes they will only take you as a beta, sometimes they might talk with you a little bit more and might end up actually being critique partners with you, in which case you will get a read on your book as well. Though, do not just beta for somebody on the assumption that they will beta for you. That is not how it works. Critique partners is more so where that happens. Workshops, conferences, and writing groups. These are, of course, definitely more in-person events where you can actually network and meet people IRL, but things like even NaNoWriMo meetups are great ways to find other writers in your local area who might be interested in reading your book. And even if they don't, you might at least make a writer friend out of it. Next is that if you don't have a following online, you will unfortunately have to talk to people you don't know. Oh no. Yeah, I know this is like a lot of writers' worst fear is talking to people you don't know, especially in person or even sometimes online. But unfortunately, it is a thing that we have to do. It's like, oh, I want community, but also that means like people have to perceive me. And you might be like, Jenna, you make YouTube videos. You don't have the issue with this. Yes, I do. This is why I never comment back to videos that I do watch. Like, I'll comment back to people in my comment section sometimes, but for the vast majority, like, I watch tons of YouTube videos. I almost never comment, and it's some bad habit I need to break. Even online on like other platforms, like on TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, I'll like things, I'll read full captions, I'll have thoughts, opinions, I'll watch people's stories, I'll know answers to their questions. Do I ever actually respond to people? Not outside of DMs. Do I ever actually initiate conversation? Nope. It's a bad trait. I need to get over it. Next is do not use beta services. Do not. There is no reason why you should pay someone to beta read your book. You should save your money for when you actually need an edit of your book. Basically, beta is just giving you their reactions. Why are you going to pay someone for that? Especially when so many people offer it for free. Not necessary, not good enough to spend money on. Anyone who does it is a scammer, in my opinion. Next is even scarier than talking to strangers. Asking your friends and family to read your book. Obviously, depending on the content of your book, this might not be possible. But if I could ask my family to read my book that had schmecks, it had 6. You can ask yours. Depending on the kinkiness level, I will say that. Mine was just fade to black that I got people to read. Mostly because I forgot it was even in there by the time that they beta read it. But if you're really struggling to find community online, if you're struggling to find people who are interested, ask friends and family. They might too be able to help you better market your book to a wider audience who will actually be more interested in it. And then you can find more betas. Because simply by asking people, hey, read this book and then tell me what you liked about it, then people are going to say, oh, I love the found family aspect. And you were advertising it as, oh, it's got so much action. Well, most people apparently are there for the found family. Mention that instead. Next, a website. Every writer should have a website. I'll link an old video I have of mine where I talk about how to make a website even before your book is published. I'm thinking of doing an updated version of that soon. Let me know down below if you would like that and if you have any questions regarding that. But yes, even just a simple landing page, something free on Wix, is important. And if you're going to have betas and you know when you're going to have betas and you know when you're going to have the book done, why not have an early sign up form like I have down below? Just a link to a simple Google form so you can capture emails early and then contact them later to let them know that the book is ready to be read. Blog can serve the same purpose. And you can also leave out little teasers in there. Definitely not like full chapters or anything, because then technically it's published online. If you're going the traditional publishing route, you can't do that, but little bits. Or YouTube, if you make YouTube videos. Put a call to action in your video to ask people to sign up to beta read your book. And also, you talking about your book more and more, it gets people more excited for your book, thus makes them want to beta read your book. I probably had around 50 to 80 betas for the 4 so rounds that I had, and I probably had about 40 betas total. I probably had about 80 to 100 people who were actually interested in just Spaceborne, and they said that sci-fis are a hard sell. Of course, out of those, probably about 20 to 25 people actually ended up finishing the book in its entirety. But it's a great way to gather interest, it's a great way to see how many people actually are interested, and then you still get all of that amazing feedback. Next is that if you still aren't getting bites, you can always incentivize with things that are like free copies or swag, as well as dedications. Because I mean, if I'm like really excited for a book and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna read it and give the feedback, and then I'm gonna get a free copy at the end that like the author signed, or a free ebook, oh, and then I'm gonna have a dedication in the back of the book, like I'm fucking hype, I will ride or die to the end. So is there any ways that I missed of how to find betas for your book? Let me know down below. And don't forget to sign up for the form if you're interested in beta reading my spicy Viking fantasy novel as well. I think betas will be sometime late this summer, so just let me know down below. But that's it for me, so remember to subscribe for more writing videos every Friday on how you can put the magic back into writing. Catch you guys next time, so bye!